Hey guys, today we've got something a bit different. We have got this 2002 Honda City VTEC. So what makes this car special is actually its engine. It's got a 1.5 liter engine with a technology called VTEC, and that's what Hondas are known for. That's why everyone loves tuner Hondas. Um, Actually, the twin cam ones are supposed to be much better, but this one is a single overhead cam VTEC. It's a 1.5, and what else that makes it special? Actually, the wheels. So a lot of, like, if you want to differentiate a normal 1.5 or any other Honda City Type 2 from a VTEC, you notice the wheels first. You notice the spoiler, and of course the engine. So there are some things I can tell you that it's a VTEC. I'll show you those in a bit. This car actually is for sale. A friend of mine bought it, and he bought two cars actually. He bought this and he bought a Zen, and these are from a race shop. So somebody used to prep rally cars and stuff like that, and this is one of his own personal cars. So what happened is there was a Zen. I tried that out. That was a little scary, very light. Uh, I don't think I would be too confident with the handling because I'm not that good at driving. Yeah, I've admitted it. But this here is, it performs much better. It feels stable at higher speeds. It's got a few things that make it special that the previous owner has done. He's put in a couple of racing seats. So these are like first copy replicas. They're a bit worn out. So if somebody is to pick this up, they will have to work on the seats a bit or just use it as is. We do have 3 keys instead of 1. So 1 for the steering. One sec, I'll open this anyways. We've got 1 for the door and 1 for the trunk. So while I'm at it, I'm going to show you guys what you should look at when you're picking up one of these. This car is actually for sale for about 1.7, and I think looking at the car with up-to-date papers and everything, I would be comfortable paying around 1.5. I think that's what this car is worth. So looking at that, great deal. I would pick it up. Put very little effort into it. What you can see over here is a busted back bumper. What I would try to do is get a single piece made in fiberglass. I think I could probably get that somewhere in South India. Get a new back bumper. We do have some other problems. Second time's a charm. Like a bit of rust. So I also had one of these. Like, a friend of mine borrowed his Honda City for a while. It wasn't a VTEC. It's actually the donor car for my Speedster. That was a 1.5 automatic, and it did have similar problems. A lot of rust, a body which is very prone to rust. So if we notice here, we've already got something going on here. If I was to spruce up this car, I'd probably start with repairing this area, repairing all the rust, making sure it doesn't spread. This car seems to have had a back shunt too. So when I take off the bumper, I'll come to know what the scene is under it. Not perfectly sitting, but we'll figure this out with time. I would do a once over just to make sure this car looks better and is more presentable, starting with the bumper, the metal work over there. That'll just prolong its life. Also, the front isn't perfect, but it's still good. I think these are supposed to have single piece bumpers, but this is a 3-piece. Those are supposedly very hard to get. This headlight does look a little worn out. So basically we're just assessing the car as if I had to buy it. There we go. That is the engine. So it says VTEC on the valve cover, so it must be a VTEC. Over here we have the battery tray, which isn't in the best condition. It doesn't have its arms. It's the wrong battery, but it's okay. It'll start. It'll work for now. We'll get to that later. I did have some problems with the wiper mechanism, so I said, okay, I'll just try to fix that for the guy. I've also noticed that areas over here inside are prone to rust. So I made sure of putting some red oxide on it. Yeah, it's kind of with me for a bit. So I thought while it's for sale, so I thought I'd spruce it up a bit, just do whatever I can. Yeah. We do need a new set of headlights. This one on this side is broken, probably got hit on this corner. One way to know that a car has been damaged is checking the apron, making sure that it's not been pulled or repaired, looking at areas like this going along the line. Yes, a little bit of damage there. I'll have to work on that. And also sometimes checking the manufacture date on a radiator. So a fairly new car, or most 15-year-old cars or 15-20-year-old cars still have their original radiators. So sometimes I've noticed that people leave their the sticker, so you know that the radiator is newer than the car. Then it looks like, it's suspect to have been in an accident. This did have probably a minor shunt on this side. That's why the mirror is broken. So we will have to source a mirror, a pair of headlights, a rear bumper. We'll have to repair the back if somebody I know was to pick this up. Also repair the wiper mechanism, which I'm starting on because it looks like a friend of mine is interested in this car. So apart from that, what else do we have? Yeah, the car's fairly clean on the inside. Yeah, it just needs a bit of grease. I think at this price, we'd have to put another, let's say 50K to make this a little nicer and more presentable. Put a new set of tires on because these are cracked and really bad. Change a bit of the trim if I get the chance. If I get these pieces or whatever's worn out. So this one here is bad. Not sure what happens or how that bends, but it's the same on the other side. This one also needs a replacement. But whatever I get would be nice. If I can get this stuff new, I think I should. So the used part market is quite easy when it comes to cars with a following. Like the Palio, you can find a lot of stuff, the 1.6 Palio. For these VTECs, these Honda Type 2s, they're really sought after for modifications, especially in South India. So they do have a following. You can get used parts, you can get new parts. I'm sure I can still get brand new taillights for this car. I'll get depots, they won't be original. That's another thing people are particular about. They want the original taillights when they're buying a car. Or, sometimes it's just a bargaining chip. But yeah, I think the thing is, if you want to do up a car, you'd be like, oh, original taillights, something like that. These, I don't think they are. I forgot what the manufacturer was, but I don't think they are original. The taillights seem fine, to be honest. So apart from that, I think that's all we've got on the exterior. We'll take the car for a round, for a spin. We'll see how it is, and we'll show you guys how it behaves after 5,000 RPM. Start. That didn't look awkward at all. So here we are in the Honda City, and it's a great drive. I've been driving it around for about a couple of days, and I really enjoy it. It's nimble, it's planted, it's strong, it doesn't feel unsafe. You're driving at a reasonable speed and it's still planted. That's the important bit. The car feels great. So I'd compare this with the Zen because this car came as a pair. There was another car that was also purchased with it, and my friend decided to keep that one instead of this. But basically that's far too light and feels unsafe because of that whole factor. But here you feel planted, you feel the power. It's not like it's a slouch. It's definitely not a slouch. It kicks in at so basically the VTEC kicks in at 5,000 RPM. That's where the valves change, and basically the cam forces the 1 second. So the cam forces the valves to open more aggressively after 5,000 RPM. That's how this system works. Basically, it's doing its own thing. But this is the last true VTEC that we got in India. Otherwise, we've been getting economy VTECs, which are basically forcing the engine to consume less fuel. And when you really rev, then it does give you moderate power. But what's happening is in the lower RPMs, they don't have torque because one valve per piston is slightly open. It's slightly open. It's just allowing a little fuel in, and instead of that, over here we have both valves opening equally, both intake valves. So if you were to build one of these cars, you have a few options. You could change the wheels, you could do the suspension, you could spend on cosmetics, so you could do a paint job, body kit. You could also spend a bit on the performance, so you could do stuff like headers, free flow exhaust like this one has. You could do a tuning box from Race Dynamic or something like that. A lot of people like to do those, and that will bump up the power, make it more responsive. Some people even turbocharge them, but that's quite an expensive ordeal. That's big spending, so you wouldn't want to get into that. And that's the performance mods is where things do get expensive, because everything that you want to buy is maybe 50k. So every component, you're talking about suspension, wheels, tires, ECU, headers, everything is somewhere between that range, and it just gets expensive. So if you're going to build a car, I mean, you'd want to start with good bones. I think when you buy one of these, you should be looking at a car which has minimal rust. Something like this. That's fixable, that's repairable. I don't need to, if this is bought, I don't need to paint the back. I don't need to paint the whole back. I don't need to paint the whole car. All I'm going to do is polish the car, change the bumper, touch up whatever is needed, and change the parts that are spoiled. I'm not going to we don't want to spend much on it, but we want to get it to be a nice VTEC, something functional, something good, and a clean looking car, something that could be appreciated. Change a trim that are a little messed up, that's all. So if you're buying it at the price that's said, I think we should have to spend another one on it, and it would be a really nice car that you could just see on the road and you'd be like, yeah, that is a nice VTEC. So the thing is that there's not much you could do with a swap on one of these, because that's far too much weight. Let's say the next option is one of those 1.6 liter engines, the twin cam ones. That could get expensive. I think those cost you another 70-80k just to buy the engine. So that would be an additional cost if you had one of those VTECs, if you had a 1.8 or a 1.6. So that is one option if you want to swap the engine. Another one would be a K24 or a K20, which would mean you have a massive engine in this thing, and you'd also need to figure out suspension because of the added weight. You'd need to figure out drive shafts. So that whole thing is a challenge. You'll have to think about all these things. So I think the other engines, from what I know, they should fit in directly. It's a K24 that will be a pain in the ass. So those are options. They could work better than mild performance mods, but they are still cool options. Maybe if you were doing an engine swap, you wouldn't want to start with a VTEC. You would start with a 1.3 or a 1.5 hypervalve. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because here you're paying that premium just for the engine. So the wiper doesn't work, and luckily it goes quick enough that the water just bleeds off. Not bad at all. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to keep doing budget builds like this, like not budget builds to be honest, more about talking about these enthusiast cars that you could get on a reasonable budget. And you could get something like this at 1.5, you'd end up at, let's say, 4, 5, and have a beautiful car, something you could really appreciate, that becomes the perfect car enthusiast identity, right? That's what you want to, that's what you're building. You're having fun with this thing. So I'd like to keep doing these videos. Whatever you guys want to see, let me know. And please share this video, and hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye. So here's the problem with the car. It doesn't have working wipers. That's gonna be a problem. But at least it has a working AC.